Absolutely, literally. You know what? Personally, right? I feel like, for me, you know, I know this is probably going to sound a bit wrong, but for me personally, I feel like anyone who doesn't get married isn't serious about life.
At the moment, I'm gone, taken. I'm off the market, guys. Ha! Too late.
I am single.
Single.
I'm currently single.
So me currently, I am single. Obviously, I'm looking to, you know, settle down, eventually get married, and you know, start a family, and then, you know, move forward from there. But yeah, I'm still single right now, searching for the one. You know, obviously these things are like, it's part of life, you know what I mean? So I'm not in a rush. I'm a handsome young man.
Past a certain age, you can't really be anal about body count. But I think most importantly, the one thing I feel about body count is, I suppose if I don't know it, that's fine. You know, if you've done a good enough job to hide the absolute graves you have, I think I wouldn't mind as the guy on a girl, because one thing you need to realize, and one thing that I've come to realize as I've grown older, is that the biggest lie or misconception there is out there regarding gender dynamics is that men like sex more than women, or like women are these prude creatures that aren't really that way inclined, or shouldn't want to have sex, or should have their sexual desires kept in check. Hey, guys, nature will show you otherwise. If you go around looking for these body counts and asking stupid questions, you're gonna get stupid answers. If you go up in the mountain looking for baboons, you will find them, my friend. So I suggest asking what body count someone has, or it's not worth it. You don't want to know, bro. I don't think you want to know, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you're ever going to get a genuinely honest answer in most cases. So why would you even bother with that? I mean, I know I wouldn't want to be asked what my body count is. If my girl had asked me what my body count is and I had to answer truthfully, you know, I might find myself umming and ahhing and trying to find justifications as to why certain numbers may be certain numbers. But hey, man, everybody likes sex. Don't just. But is she loyal though?
No, it doesn't matter to me at all. Yeah, it's irrelevant.
It doesn't matter, but it does at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it matters, but it doesn't matter, really and truly. Like, if your body count's below 10, you're good, you're good. But if you haven't chopped any of the man, then even better.
To be honest, not really, because like, you could meet a girl, yeah, like who wouldn't have a high body count, because a lot of people nowadays is sometimes the people that you least expect. You know what I mean? So like sometimes like when you think of a girl that has a high body, you just picture a girl with big breast, you know, a girl that gets loads of likes on Instagram and all that stuff. You know, a girl that's literally around every guy. Or sometimes really you can't really look at a girl and say, oh yeah, she's, you know, slept with bare people. And I think, you know, we're all humans, you know what I mean? We're all sexual human beings, you know what I mean? So really, it's like, as us guys, like technically, us guys, you know, we sleep with loads of girls and we don't really get that stigma for that. So why is it for girls? And I feel like, you know, if the girl's gonna, you know, be loyal to you and, you know, you two have a future together and you got that charisma together, that vibe, it shouldn't really matter, you know what I mean? Because I've dated girls who've had a higher body count than me, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just think it depends on it. But a lot of guys, I feel like it's to do with the egos, innit? So that's the issue really with body counts.
I don't actually know. I've never really thought about if body count matters to me or not. My initial answer is no. I don't think it matters, because I think once you start looking at things like body count and everything else, it starts to put the past, and then, I don't know, it just feels like the past becomes more relevant than what you guys are trying to build and where you're trying to go in the future. I mean, if body count, and then if they're still doing those things with other people, then of course it matters. But to me, body count doesn't really matter.
How do I put it? When you're in your peak, like when you're in your youngster age, you know, we do madness, you know, people smoke weed, people get drunk, people sell drugs, people do fraud, people do all sorts. But I think obviously when you're in those marital statuses now, I think all those stuff are relevant because you've probably moved on from those days, you know what I mean? And you've moved on to a new chapter. Because like, you know, there's people who've done all sorts of crazy stuff and look at them now, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think obviously when you're married, it doesn't matter. As long as the woman's committed to you and you two are embarking on a journey together, then that doesn't matter anymore, you know what I mean?
I don't have a husband, but if I did have a husband, it wouldn't matter to me at all, no.
No. Do you know, now I'm really trying to think like, what's too high and what's too low? Is that even a thing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it does. That's not a very solid answer, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter unless she's chopped any of the man them. She's chopped man them. Get out of here, man.
I'm gonna be brutally honest here. It doesn't really matter to me, but it sure as hell would bother me if there were familiar faces or no bodyguard. I guess for me, it's not about how many people have you banged before, it's who have you banged before. Because you could have banged 3 guys your entire life and those 3 guys are 3 of my best friends. Then, you know, if I eventually find that out, yeah, I don't know about that. So I think my wife's body count really wouldn't be a big deal. But I think it's who you've banged, not how many people have you banged. Because I once dated a girl, you know, I was once in a previous, you know, serious relationship and I came across this information unwittingly. And, you know, boy, you just gotta take it like it is, isn't it? And in all fairness, this is why I genuinely say I don't think it bothered me. Because it didn't bother me then. It genuinely didn't bother me. Because I just took it for, okay, you know what, that was back in the day. You know, women always have the whole phase, so they say. And I believe it. It makes sense. Yo, the girl could be in uni up in Manchester, come back here to London and fraternize with you. You never know what Freshers Week was like up there. So don't look for them things, bro.
I personally feel like, you know, us black guys, it's just like, you know, we kind of got this thing like, you know, we've got this ego thing.
It definitely comes back down to the cultural thing. So you see, most black people in the UK, or let's say most black people we're going to find, they would have come from countries or places where they are more in touch with cultural things, and cultural things which also dictate traditional things and like traditional ways of doing things, like in a relationship. So traditionally, again, it comes back to this misconception, and I will listen. I'm going to do a TED talk about this. It's a misconception that women, you know, they don't like sex and they shouldn't want to want sex. Listen, everybody roasts. Everyone, yeah, everyone, fam, even from like niggas from back in the days, Sekuruga Guimbana and the days and all of them cats, they all roasted, fam.
Ooh. I know black men have a lot of pride when it comes to, you know, females and that. Like, they're like, you know, when they have a wife, they want to be like unknown, low body count. They just want a wife just that's quiet, that's not out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, if like a man finds out that their wife is out there, then they're gonna get put off, really and truly.
We can't handle it when we find out that, oh shit, women are getting it in more than men. Because really and truly, women get it in more than men. You know what I mean? Men bang who lets them. Women bang who they want to bang. Like, we are not on the same level of sport. Having a vagina is a cheat code. If a woman walks out today and says she wants to get sex, she will get sex. She doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10. She can be a 5 out of 10. A 5 out of 10 woman can walk out here today and get laid. You could be an 8 out of 10 guy and you struggle to get laid. We are not in the same game. The cheat code's vagina.
Like, most man them, like, you know, most of the black man them, like, obviously we're all talking it. So we'll know, you know, wild on about which girl, innit? So we'll be like, oh, this girl's been with this guy, been with that guy. Or let's say that girl's been with one of my boys or someone that I know. So a lot of guys are like, nah, you don't know that girl, fam. She's been through the streets. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's the thing though. And I feel like a lot of us man them feel like if we got a girl like that, we're not gonna be rated. You know what I mean? Or we'll be laughed at by our boys. So that's the issue, you know what I mean, about going out with sometimes girls with a high body count.
Men have this idea of, obviously they do the chasing, they do the conquering, whatever that means. And so if they're doing and putting in all that work, I feel like men almost like the idea of being the first one to be for that woman to experience certain things and certain parts of the relationship. So maybe it's about experience and it's about them wanting to be the first, which I think can be quite a shallow way of thinking. But yeah, I feel like it's something that's so deeply ingrained in them that maybe even if you ask them why body count matters to them, I don't think maybe they would be able to tell you why or where it started from or where they learned it from. Yeah.
And I think culturally we are taught, and women themselves are taught to protect men's egos in places like Africa, where we come from. People from the Caribbean, they would have had similar sets of values. So it's about where we come from. Black people come from traditions where women are generally conditioned to be subservient and to be submissive and to cater to the man's needs and to be mindful of the man's emotions, because the truth is, men are emotionally weak. Women, tough. Janji, bro. Like, them shits are cold-hearted. You think women are emotional? No, they're not. Fam, they can handle emotionally destroying shit better than Men can. So that's why our world gets turned upside down so much when we find out women are banging a lot of guys. Because we've been taught that, no, we do the banging. And I guess, yeah, nah, that's why a lot of black people find the issue with it. And it's just a pride and ego thing. I think black guys, but once you accept that, people like sex, this becomes trivial, isn't it?
Let's say you got a girl. Sometimes your boys, even if they don't know about the girl, they'll look at the girl and they'll be like, "Yo, bro, come on, you can do better than this, fam." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, even me, I ain't gonna lie to you, the ex that I went out with, like, a lot of the man said to me, "Yo, bro, I can do better than this, fam." You know what I mean? Because they could tell, like, you know what I mean? She wasn't like, you know, a classic girl. The way she dressed, the way she carried herself, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
I don't really know. I don't know why they'd have an issue with it. I just think let everyone do what they want, sleep with who they want.
I actually agree with that because when a woman's body count is high, the men are usually insecure. They're like, "Oh, what if my cocky's not big enough? Like, do you know what I mean? She's been around, like, you know, she's been doing this. She has more experience than me. Like, what's going on?" Yeah, it's gonna be, man's definitely gonna be insecure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do think so. I feel like men think that if a woman's body count's higher, she's more likely to cheat on you. I also just think women can just be free and do what they want when they're single, just like men can.
Well, definitely, I think women are just as sexual as men. I just think that, you know, girls are good at hiding, you know what I mean? Like, a girl could be literally wanting you, you know, like that. Like, you know what I mean? The girl could just literally be like, "I want this guy right now." She wants to pounce on you. But literally, in your head, you'll be looking at the girl and you'll be thinking that. Because girls are very, very mysterious, you know what I mean? Like, you won't even know that they're feeling you, you know what I mean? I've had bare girls who felt me and I had no idea, you know what I mean?
I definitely agree that women are just as sexual as men are. But I don't think that men who care about a woman's body count are insecure. I think everybody has different preferences of what they're looking for in a partner. And if he cares about body count, then that's just his preference. It's not an insecurity. I'd say maybe it's down to culture, it's down to religion, or it's down to the way that they've been brought up. But I don't think it's down to an insecurity.
Insecurity is a big thing, guys. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of guys won't admit that they're insecure. You know what I mean? That's the funny thing about it. Girls, girls admit it. You know what I mean? Like, literally, most girls, you know, even us as guys, we know, like, we'll probably have female friends and they'll tell you, "Oh, you know, I'm insecure about this or about my leg or about my feet." Us guys, we know we're insecure, but we won't mention it, even to our man them. You know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, as us guys, I feel like definitely there's a lot of insecurity, especially when it comes to girls, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of guys are controlling. That's insecurity. Like, a lot of domestic violence, insecurity. You know, like, one of my boys who went out with his girlfriend not long ago, he was with this beautiful mixed race girl. And obviously there was this guy that he knows. Him and him are calm in it. Obviously, he was feeling his girl at one point, and obviously, he was always liking the girls liking her pictures on Instagram, and obviously, he was probably like vexed by it. He was telling me, "Yo, why is that guy always liking my girl's pictures?" I'm like, "Fam, chill out, fam. The girl's yours, fam. The girl literally, because obviously it was during COVID as well. The girl literally, she's only after you, fam. She's waiting to see you after Corona. She's not going nowhere else. So why are you bothered about a guy liking a picture? You know what I mean?"
I feel like this is what I'm saying. This here, women are just as sexual as men. They are, because they really are, fam. Yo, if today, right, it was a compulsory, a mandatory rule that upon getting pregnant or upon giving birth, there has to be a compulsory paternity test. I feel like a lot of women might fight that. I'm telling you, hey, you know what I mean? And you just don't understand the scale and the level that when we say women are just as sexual as men, it is really just that. Are you insecure if it bothers you? It depends. How is it bothering you? You know, I think it's, as a guy, if you find out that your girl's got a mad high body count, like I said, I can understand why that might annoy you, might affect you, but again, it's because you're not conditioned to. You find out your girl's got a higher body count than you. How would you feel? You feel like the world ain't what it is, isn't it? But that's just what it is. It's reality. I understand why people would feel insecure. I get the whole reasoning behind you're insecure if you say that to some degree. But hey, it's rough, man, because even if it's like 10 guys, how confident are you that you have the biggest penis of those 10 guys? How sure are you of that? How sure are you that you? Because with men, it's egos, fam. Our egos are our biggest enemies. That's our biggest weakness, our egos. Because once you start thinking, boy, am I really hitting this right? It's rough. Don't ask what you don't want to find out. But again, if you go up in the mountains looking for baboons, you will find them. That's my line of the day.
I'm not really looking for a guy at all at the moment, but I suppose if I was, someone who doesn't take life too seriously, someone who enjoys to travel, someone who likes to have fun, and someone who's creative as well.
Someone with a nice smile. Like, if you have a nice smile, it means that you're welcoming, well presentable. Just a nice person. Like, if our energies bounce off of each other, communication's there, like, we're flying, to Bora Bora.
You need to be on the same wavelength, you know what I mean? So I feel like I want a woman confident, a woman who's strong, got strong morals, and a woman who knows herself, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of girls don't know themselves. I feel like a lot of girls are kind of like naive. You know what I mean? I think obviously us boys are naive as well, but I think girls are naive as well. So sometimes a lot of girls will be influenced by the friends, you know what I mean? And they don't really know who they are. And obviously I want a woman who's going to be able to be nice and kind-hearted. Because I believe, we're all equal, and I want a girl who's sociable.
I am looking for somebody who has a great relationship with their own family, or who has a great relationship with the circle around him. Because if they have that foundation of building great relationships, which means that they're able to communicate effectively, they are vulnerable with their emotions and the things that they're going through. If they're able to communicate with their inner circle and their families, then it means that we will be able to communicate well together. I'm looking for somebody who knows how to have a laugh, because sometimes all you need is to laugh around and joke about certain things. I'm looking for somebody who is able to... How deep am I going with this? Anyway, okay. I'm looking for somebody who is financially responsible. Somebody who, because consistency for me is a very great need. I want somebody who's consistent. If we can build a foundation of great communication and you are good financially, we're both learning together on that journey, then I think it's easier to then build together a home that we can then bring children into it. What I want is somebody who is emotionally healthy we're able to have a fight, but we know that at the end of the day, we are okay. I want someone who is committed to commitment, not just the idea of a wedding, not just the idea of a marriage, because this is what they feel like society is telling them to do or religion is telling them to do, but they genuinely want to be in a committed relationship with one woman, and they are thinking that this is something for the rest of my life, and I'm wanting to build with that person. So for me, those are very important things, qualities I'm looking for in a man.
I'd want a woman who's fearing in God, you know, because I feel like, even though for me, like, I won't say I'm the biggest Christian in the world, but, you know, I believe in God, I go to church, I think I'll need that, because I feel like when you're looking for a partner, you need someone that's going to be in the right frame of mind as you are, so that you can grow strongly, you know what I mean? And I feel like I need a woman who's religious so that we can both, like, support each other and like pray together, and like if we're going through struggles, we can, you know, come to God together, you know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, I feel like I need a woman that's gonna meet me halfway.
I think for me, humor goes a long way. You need to have a good sense of humor. We all want things like honesty and all of that. And I'm trying to think of something that's not cliche, something that's not like, oh, someone who can, cook and clean. That's not to say I want someone who can cook and clean so that they can cook and clean for me. It's just someone who's just got good hygiene. I guess that's a given. I'm not saying clean for me. And like, if I come to your yard, it would be nice if it's clean. But it's things like that. I don't mind girls that drink, smoke, go out clubbing, smoke weed. I don't mind that. I don't mind it when a girl has a male friend or something like that. I'm trying to think of things that man them will be like, my girl can't be doing this and that. Yeah, I think I'm very easy. Yeah, I think I just ask for just the bare basic stuff.
And I feel like as well, I need a woman who's going to be independent, because as well, obviously, you know, we're all dependent, because, you know what I mean, it's something that is natural in our character. We are dependent, you know what I mean? Like, we are independent at the same time, but at the same time we're dependent, you know what I mean? Because we all work, we all pay stuff, so we're all dependent on stuff. So I feel like, yeah, I need a woman who's independent at the same time, who can, you know, walk her own 2 feet as well, because at the end of the day, you can't always rely on your partner. You need to walk on your own as well. Yeah.
To you. Absolutely. Marriage, it's not just about two people coming together. It's about two families coming together. It's about the covenant between a man and a woman and God. It's something that pleases God, and it's something that I feel was created by God. So that's the ultimate relationship that you can be in with another person. I've heard people who are married say there's no relationship that will leave you feeling exposed as much as marriage does. And I want to experience that. So yeah, marriage is important to me.
Economically speaking, and I think at the end of the day, it comes down who you have married. Yeah, economically makes sense to be married. Statistically, couples that are married do better financially. They tend to raise kids that do better from I guess to some degree there's a reason why the nuclear family structure is arguably the best family structure.
Absolutely, literally. You know what, personally, right? I feel like, for me, you know, I know this is probably going to sound a bit wrong, but for me personally, I feel like anyone who doesn't get married isn't serious about life. So I feel like, personally, yeah, like, you're basically a cheapskate. Because for me personally, like, marriage is the ultimate goal. That is like symbolic, you know what I mean?
It used to be important to me, but since I've had a few bad relationships, I've kind of learned to be alright on my own. So if I did find it, then I find it, and if not, then it's not really a problem for me.
Yes, I agree marriage is important to you because it is a symbol of being together, a symbol of trust, symbol of love, you know, jiggy jiggy, you know.
I think you have to be married for all the right reasons now. Because back in the day, people used to marry because you couldn't get sex regularly if you didn't have a wife, innit? So man's had to get married. It's facts. It's the real talk. And even the women too. They knew they just couldn't get their backs blown out like that. So they knew the best way to get it done is to just get married. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people got married a lot more back in the day than they do get married nowadays, especially being Zimbabwean and from Zimbabwe. I genuinely, I feel like they're, because imagine, 1920, 17, 19, where was you getting laid at, bro, as your man there? You can't, I think you had to get married to get this kitty.
I believe marriage 100%. I feel like all this partner thing is just a cheapskate thing, you know what I mean? You know, and if I was like, let's say, someone that's a public figure or like a president or something, I would tell everyone you should get married. I do not believe in like, you know, if you have a partner, because I just feel like, especially when you're having children, it's not gonna show them valueship in a husband and wife, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I feel like when God created us, He wanted us to be husband and wife, you know what I mean? Not Sarah and James, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's Mr. and Mrs. That's how it should be, innit? Yeah, man.
Yes. That's the answer.
I actually already have a son. He's 1 year old and I bring him up on my own, so I'm kind of used to doing it all. So I think I'd only have another child if I was married, just because it's a little bit easier to have someone else helping you. Other than that, I'm probably fine just us two.
Yeah, I definitely want kids. Solid.
110%. 110%. You know what? I feel like this world we live in, yeah, we've got to reproduce. We have got to lay our oysters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want kids. I want to start Project Mbappe very, very, very soon. Very soon. If that don't work out, Project Bampton. If that don't work out, Project KSI. If that don't work out, I don't know. But I don't know, my son can be whatever, but I'm gonna love my son indefinitely.
What if you never have a son?
Or a daughter. yo, I don't want to think about having a daughter right now, but a son, that's what I want right now. I don't care.
What does that mean? Like the price of the bride? Like how much she's worth?
The processing.
The process of it. Okay. I suppose it's traditional, so obviously every culture you have to respect traditions. But I do think that there's nothing wrong with it as long as the woman who's being bought has a choice and she is allowed to say no if she wants to.
I guess if it's serving the purpose that it was originally there for. I get it, because the history of Lobola, and I'm sure this is an argument that's made time and time again. It was used as not only to ascertain that can you take care of a woman, but B, it was a token of bringing the families together, and C, you find that back then the things that people would give away at the Lobola were things like hose and very practical stuff like yokes for cows and all of that sort of stuff, magejo, plows. So those were things that, when given as gifts, they could be given back to you guys as a new family, and then you have that's all equipment that you're going to use to till your land and grow stuff and raise your family. So it was kind of like kumchatu, at weddings when some people donate stoves. So now when you move into a new house, you don't even need to buy a stove because you're relying on a lot of wedding gifts. To some degree, it was something like that. It wasn't, and also it was just to see, if I've got a daughter and some guy is gonna come take my daughter, are you about it, bruv? Can you take care of her? Is what I'd like to know. But it's not. It shouldn't be used as a get-rich scheme type of thing, But if I'm balling and I've got money, I'd certainly like to pay a little something on Lobola. I guess if your pocket is a bit thin, you'll start to worry about things like that. But yeah, I think that's, don't use it to milk people. Just be reasonable about it, isn't it?
Basically, I like the idea of two families coming together to say, I don't know, I can't explain what exactly it is, but when the guy's family come over and say, we want to marry into this family, the whole family comes in and they chill out. Maybe we don't do it right in our family, I don't know, or we take it super like chill, but it's the barbecue afterwards, everybody laughing together afterwards. It's the intimacy of it, of the bride and the groom getting to be themselves and to be their true selves in front of their families during that time, because there's no other people there who are wanting to take pictures or wanting to take videos, as in a white wedding or in the court wedding. But actually in Lobola, there's that safety of you're in your house, you're in front of your family, and you just get to experience the union of two people coming together.
I think it's good, that bride price, because it shows that you're in it for the real deal. You know what I mean? You're not in it just because she's hot or because it's for status. Because some people just get married for the status of it. So really, you're in it because you truly love this woman. You want to be with her. You want to spend the rest of your life with her. So definitely, I feel like the bride price thing is really good. And I feel like, I know it's dying out, but I feel like it should still be relevant, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it embodies marriage and it embodies husband and wife. And it also embodies you're marrying into your wife's family.
I feel like it's a bit, because, families and stuff, I'm not going to get too much into family issues and stuff, but families can be very greedy. Like some uncles and aunties are like, yeah, give me money for my daughter, and and then if you're not in agreement, things will be said, arguments, and then families are beefing. It's gonna end up like Romeo and Juliet. You know how that played out, like beef between families. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want a good relationship between the mum and dad and from both sides of the families, I feel like Lobola will get in the way with things. It will just entangle things that ruin everything.
Now, when it comes to the money and everything else, I feel like even I don't know how Lobola started, but from what I've been told, it's the idea that the guy is coming to show the family that they can provide for this girl that they're wanting to marry. And so they do that by offering cows or money or fabric, food, that kind of thing. I feel like in this day and age, though, it's kind of been taken into this thing of, for some people it's almost a get rich scheme, but for other people it's almost the idea of you're almost putting a price tag on the girl in the family and saying this is how much she's worth, where actually that's not the reason why it started to begin with. So I think I like the idea of two families coming together in that intimate space. I just don't know if I quite like the idea of money exchanging hands in a way that's like, Jackie is worth, I don't know, £5,000. What happens? You know, I want a big honeymoon. I want a big wedding, I think. I want a home. I want to be able to live a certain lifestyle. And if we do Lobola in a way that will leave us not able to do that, then I'm not for it.
Well, I feel like, you know, to find the virgins there, I mean, like, I don't even know. Is it even possible?
Yeah, it's, you know, if you're not gonna be like hardcore anal about it, I think people shouldn't complain about Lobola. The whole virgin thing, all of this fun jazz, again, you're missing the point. It's about families token of, yeah, and just sign off, I can take care of your child. I mean, if you don't want to marry her because she's a virgin and you know she's a virgin, you know, don't go to the Lobolas and don't get with her. Just don't. Simple and straightforward. If you're so hell bent on virgins, why did you date a non-virgin in the first place? Clearly, it doesn't bother you. If you why does it bother you now?
I feel like that's a little bit of a old way to think. I think that a woman, even if I suppose money's been exchanged for the marriage, should be allowed to choose, and also should her sexuality prior to the marriage shouldn't be relevant going forwards.
I'm not really bothered about that, really and truly. I'm not. It doesn't concern me. She's a virgin or not. Like, at least she'll experience what, you know. But yeah, it doesn't concern me. Yeah.
I did not know that one of the requirements were that the girl be a virgin. So thank you very much for educating me. How do I feel about this? Does that mean if you're not a virgin, then you don't get lobolad? You know, so many questions come to mind now. Does the guy have to be a virgin? That's my answer. How do I feel about it? On a real though, I feel like when it comes to the issue, when it comes to sort of virginity and everything else, I feel like there's so much like almost pressure, and there's just so many things that are put on the woman, and you're almost required to be a virgin. And it's this idea that you're pure and, you know, you are pleasing and you are this amazing package for this person that you're going to marry. It feels like virginity is now something that is more important than who the person is. It gets talked about a lot more than you being taught about being a great person, a great citizen. It's almost as if from a young age as girls we're then being groomed for marriage, and if you keep yourself pure then you go for a greater value. So it almost makes it feel like Lobola is now about how much money can we get from this person because this person is pure.
Nowadays, I don't know, like, it's hard because there's not really many virgins, you know what I mean? I mean, like let's say if all of us now said that we're going to get married and we want to get married to a virgin, like, we could find a virgin, yeah, but like, she might not be our ideal partner. So that's the question. We could find virgins as wives, but are they going to be the ideal partner? That's the thing. Are they going to have all the qualities that a lady who's not a virgin would have? So So that's the thing, though. You know what I mean? Because you could find a woman who's a virgin, and the thing is, I feel like with the virgin thing, everyone assumes a virgin as a woman who's innocent, a woman who's the perfect lady, but not necessarily. There's people who are virgins who are not good people, and that's it. So, like, just because someone's a virgin doesn't necessarily mean that this person's, you know, a good, innocent person that's perfect, because that's not how it works, you know what I mean?
Damage. If I have to pay extra. Like, I'm wifing your daughter still, like, you know what I mean? I don't need, like, money is, it brings problems, but it's a blessing. It's just, families, I'm not involved with that, no. So I'm going to have to swing it if I have to pay extra, no.
Sorry, I'm not laughing. I don't even really know what to feel about that. I mean, I suppose I'm damaged goods then as well. No, I don't think that. I feel like that completely defeats the object of what you're trying to do. You're trying to pay for the person. You're not trying to pay for damage costs. No, I don't agree with that one.
I'm not paying extra. I'd be with her, but like, you know, paying extra for, I don't know, Lobola. Because in my country, we have to do, with Lobola, we do goats and stuff. We do money, but we do objects now, because my parents just want objects, not money. That's why I have that mentality around money, because we just give, I don't know, what do we give? Like, mattresses, I know it sounds weird. Mattresses, pots, pans, it sounds brazy, but money is no go, because I went to Africa, I experienced stuff. That's all I can say. Money, it's toxic. You know what I mean?
I don't intend to have any kids before marriage, because that would be game over for me. Because I feel like, you know, I've been brought up very well. I mean, obviously, you know, I feel like now, in this day and age now, no one really cares about that. About whether you have children before marriage, or, you know, you have just kids in general without marriage. But I feel like, in my eyes, I've been brought up in a way where everyone in my family household has been married and they've had children. So for me to have that would be a bad stigma for me, and I feel like I'll be disowned from my family. And I actually did have a pregnancy scare with one girl, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I then had a panic attack.
I get the whole damages thing. But oh no, mom's gonna dump me and say, was she not involved? How can you damage someone who's asked to be damaged? It's not damage. It's collateral damage. No, I don't think. I get the premise of like how you've defiled our daughter. I guess those damages, they come from the assumption that the girl was a virgin and therefore you defiled her. Then boom, 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 and you've done things the improper channel. So there's a fine for that. Think of it as a fine. So I think if you think of it as a fine, I get how it's applied and how it's done, but yeah, I think it's just customs, man. Yeah. And I guess it wouldn't hurt as a guy to you know, to be like, oh, sorry, you know, just a little extra culture. Yeah, I would if I was the guy, and if the means allowed, I wouldn't cry about it.
There's just so much pain already with the idea that you've gotten pregnant, and when you come home to tell your family, especially like maybe I shouldn't say as an African child, so as a Zimbabwean or South African, when you now have to come home and tell your parents that I'm pregnant, and then the idea that someone is now going to come and pay damages because somehow they've damaged you, what exactly is it that they've damaged? Is it, again, going back to the value? I feel like it just devalues the girl. I don't know. Again, you're no longer valuable to the family. So what does that mean? Was my role always to be the one to bring extra cash or extra cows to the family? And now that I've gotten pregnant outside of marriage, does that mean that I've lost that standing with the family? It just makes me feel sad, really. Yeah.
First, I would say confidence. You know what I mean? Because for me, I'm a very confident man. And I feel like confidence is I think that confidence is probably one of the most important things in us. Because once you've got confidence, you can go anywhere.
Communication, emotional and financial health, and this is a toss-up between, I think, and someone with the ability to just be free and be themselves. Is that 3? And family-oriented, obviously, because I want kids.
As well, I would say a woman that's honest. Because I feel like a lot of people, they go into a relationship and they're not fully honest with the partner. You get what I'm saying? So like they're kind of, it's like they give loopholes. So they say something but they don't say the full truth. You know what I mean? Then you hear from somebody else that, you know, because realistically, we've had partners, we've had girlfriends, we've had girls that we've seen, and you've heard stuff about them and you're like, rah, I didn't know this.
Someone who's financially stable, not necessarily rich, just knows how to control money and, you know, look after themselves. For someone who is kind and caring, respectable to everybody, someone who doesn't take life too seriously, and someone who has ambition to kind of always do better.
Loyalty. For me, I expect loyalty first. Well, I don't expect it, but I want someone to be loyal with me first. Because if someone loves you, they can still hurt you, innit? But if someone's loyal, they won't hurt you. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's my opinion. The second quality is that they are somewhat caring. Yeah, caring to me and to my daughter or son. Like they have like a motherly presence to them. Someone that's devoted to God. Do you know what I mean? Like I value that. And the last one is someone that can cook or bake, you know what I mean? So we can cook and bake together, you know, in the kitchen, like baby, you know, kitchen, you know, whipping indomie or, you know, fufu, you know.
But yeah, so another thing is trust. So, because I feel like trust is a key thing. That's something that keeps the relationships steady. If there's no trust, there's no relationship, there's no marriage. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You gotta trust your partner.
They have to have their shit together. And when I mean shit together, I don't mean they've got their shit together on top of this boss like a banger and, you know, drives a massive car and all of this and professional. I want to know that in 5 years' time you've got somewhere you're trying to get. You know what I mean? Munane plan. You know what I mean? I said, no, that's it. It's shit like that. Really and truly, that's what you want. And I think Munu are city material driven. And that's not to say when I'm a stingy guy, that's just genuinely to say in life, the vicissitudes of life, you know, things change. You could meet today and things are firing. They could be firing for the next 5 years. They could be firing for the next 10 years. But a fucking corona disaster can happen. There's people who had great jobs, earning, but over these last 4 months, they're coming out of this shit with debt. You know what I mean? So now if you're someone who is using material wealth and that financial Dinesh Banzi as a selling point in, or like a key thing in your approach to wooing girls, you're gonna find a girl that likes that kind of thing, and then when shit goes tits up, they're the first to walk out. Was my baby? I best believe there's. Listen, let me tell you something. Women have options, bro. Understand that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's a wrap, bro. It's just, what can you do? What can you do? Really and truly, there really is nothing you can do. There really isn't anything you can do about this one. Because at the end of the day, it's done, fam. That's just that, isn't it? Just keep it chopping. And, you know, don't take it too hard on yourself, buddy. Sometimes it's not because of you. Sometimes hoes be hoes, bro. You know what I mean? Just be like that. You know, people like sex. If you can understand how a guy can walk out of his house with a loving wife and all kids and and go out there and fuck a girl and cheat and do disgusting things out there, please, again, understand women can easily just do the same thing. People think that we are so different in how we, yes, granted, there's genuine physiological differences in how our brains are made up and how we think, men and women. I'm not to say there isn't. There's, you know, there's things. But ultimately, we think the same.
Well, let's say, okay, this is my fury. If me and her haven't got no kids and we're not married, game over. Lock off.
Packing my bags and leaving. No questions asked. I mean, no, I suppose if I knew that they had cheated for sure, yeah, I wouldn't even bother having the conversation. If I thought they potentially had cheated, I would ask them first and then probably, you know, give them the answers, then decide what to do. But yeah, I'd never ever stay with someone who cheated on me. Never.
This one here, I'm going to have to go in a room. Come here. Lock the keys. Make sure there's weapons scattered all over the room. Either me or you are dying today. I don't care. Me or you are dying. But more time, maturely, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave the relationship. As a real king I am, I've learned to respect myself. I'm gonna have to, darling, know me, pack my bags and go. I don't know where, but go.
Cheating isn't a mistake, it's a choice. But I feel like when you have children in it, then it's a whole game changer.
Men can't handle finding out they've been cheated on. Not in a way that other people have found out. And I'll tell you something else, very interestingly. The amount of niggas that take back their women after they've been cheated on, if no one else finds out, will stagger you. A lot of men are willing to forgive cheating partners if no one else knows about it. I'm telling you, If no one else knows about it, man, then will take her back. So you'd be so surprised. There's some slave queens, some dangerous women with body counts watching this from the other side of the screen, thinking, I've seen that. Facts. So yeah, but nah, if you know, just keep it chopping, bro. Keep it moving. That.
Conversation obviously has to be had because we have to talk about it. But I think at this point as well, if they've been having a relationship with another person from 4 months, like for the past 4 months, it's a question of, I don't know, it sounds really stupid and simple, I suppose, but why are they doing it? What is it that's making them want to be talking to this other person? Why are they with me? Why are we in a relationship? And again, what commitment do they even understand? What commitment is? If we are married, I think that's when you bring in another person. It is bringing in counselling, because I honestly don't think that this would be something that I'd be able to handle on my own. So for me, I would want counselling to fix things. My initial thought is not divorce, but it's actually, we need to talk to someone because something is clearly broken here, and then we can go from there.
It'll bring problems into the relationship. And what I mean by problems, you know how women are, I won't say women, but women are chatty pies. Do you know what I mean? They'd be like, you know, after you do the deed, and they'd be like, yo, babes, who's better? Was it me or her?